Number 7, find the first derivative of the function y is equal to 1 plus x squared multiplied to the arctangent of x and minus x. Pwede nating i-group ito as again, be careful with the analysis of the groupings because those are very essential when it comes to the differentiation. Kasi syempre, hindi mo alam kung kasama ba ito as a product or not. Let's say this one, iba ang arctangent of x sa arctangent of x minus x. Diba? So, you are deducting x from the product of these two, not just from the arctangent x. Okay, so much with that. Alam kong kaya nyo naman nang i-analyze yung mga yan. So, let's have the derivative of y with respect to x. Take note, we have a product here. Kapag may product ka dyan, you perform the product rule as copy the f and then derive the g with respect to x. Plus, you have to copy the g and then derive the f with respect to h. And finally, you add the derivative of h with respect to x. Let's work on that. If f is given as 1 plus x squared, its derivative of f with respect to x is equivalent to, this is 1, so constant yan, and this one is 2x dx all over dx. Or basically, that is 2x. Yung g naman, yan ay, or nakalagay dito, inverse tangent of x. So, its corresponding dg all over dx is equivalent to the du all over dx divided by 1 plus u squared. Wherein, ang u ay ang angle, so that is x, and the derivative of u with respect to x is equivalent to dx all over dx, or basically that is 1. Kaya natin laging inilalagay yung d all over dx kasi kailangan nga ito doon sa mismong formula. So, meron na tayong g, u, and d all over dx. Finally is the h. So, madali na lang naman yan kasi ang derivative ng h with respect to x ay equivalent sa derivative of negative h with respect to x. Or basically, that is negative 1 dx all over dx, or just negative 1. So, okay na. Pwede na nating i-plug in lahat yan sa ating working equation and then simplify the equation itself. So, let me just write it here that the dy all over dx is equivalent to f, or that is 1 plus x squared. Derivative ng g with respect to x, that is, saan yung nilagay natin kanina? Ito. That is, it's not yet simplified, so ilagay pala natin dito. That the dg all over dx is equal to, d all over dx is 1 divided by 1 plus ano yung u? X. So, lagay natin dito x and then square that, or that is basically 1 plus 1 plus x squared. So, ito na yung ilalagay natin dito sa katabi ng 1 plus x squared. That it is 1 all over 1 plus x squared. From that, mag-add tayo ng g and the derivative of f with respect to h. So, g now is the arctangent. So, ilagay ko na lang dito sa baba. Arctangent of x. And then, the derivative of f is simply 2x. So, lagay natin dito 2x. And finally, is to add the derivative of h with respect to x. And that is negative 1. So, negative 1. Simplifying it, it's dy all over dx. So, as you can see, 1 plus x squared will cancel out. We have 1 plus, this is 2x multiplied to the arc tangent of x, and meron tayong minus 1. So, simply cancel ang 1 plus negative 1. So, ang naiwan na pala sa ating derivative ng y with respect to h ay 2x and multiplied to the arc tangent of x. And that's it. No more further simplification. This is the final answer. So, for this function, the derivative of y with respect to x, pwede natin itong i-group as this as the first function f, and then this whole arc sine of square root of x all over 2 will be the function as g. So according to the product rule, you just have to copy the first function, derive the second function with respect to x, and then add the product of the second function and the derivative of first function with respect to x. So, ganun lang kadali, basta alam mo kung ano yung mga nilalagay mo dyan. So, isa-isahin natin. Let's have the f that is equivalent to 2. So, basically, the derivative of f with respect to x is equal to 0 because that is a constant. How about the g? It is equivalent to the inverse sine of the square root of x all over 2. So, ang magiging derivative of g with respect to x ay nakabase sa inverse trigonometric functions derivative. That you have to get the du all over dx divided by this is sine, so that is the square root of 1 minus u squared. Yun nga lang, wala pa tayong exact value, so we have to get the u. Ang u natin or ang angle dito ay square root of x all over 2. And the du all over dx is the derivative of square root of x all over 2. So, para mas madali, gawin mo itong x all over 2 and then raise that to 1/2. Kasi according to general power formula. So, let me just write it here. If you are going to derive the u with respect to x, yan ay equivalent sa 1/2 times the x all over 2 that is raised to 1/2 minus 1. And then, kunin mo pa syempre yung derivative ng x all over 2. Ano ang derivative ng x all over 2? That is basically 1/2 derivative of x with respect to x. So, simplify lang natin to para mas madaling i-plug in. The derivative of u with respect to x is equal to, we have 2's here, so magiging 1/4 yan. And, meron kang 1/2 minus 1 or that is negative 1/2, so magiging denominator ulit yan, the square root of x all over 2. So, itong d all over dx na to ay yung value pa lang dito sa portion na ito. So, substitute natin. Balik tayo sa dg all over dx, equal yan sa ito na mismo. So, ilagay natin yan as 1 all over 4 square root of x all over 2, and it is further divided by the 1 minus u squared daw. Ano yung u? Ito. Square root sa loob, may square root ng x all over 2, and it is further raised to the second power, or this is squared. So, kailangan ulit nating i-simplify para mas madaling gamitin mamaya. The dg all over dx is equal to, this is a denominator, so pwede nating ibabayan 1 all over 4 square root of x all over 2. Ito naman, kung isi-simplify natin to, it's squared, so magka-cancel out yung radical sign. Magkakaroon ka ng 1 minus x all over 2. And from 1 minus x all over 2, kapag kinombine mo yan, magiging meron kang 2 as your denominator, and then ito ay magiging 2 minus x. Ang 2 minus x divided by 2 ay equal sa 1 minus x all over 2. Okay, and from this is not yet the end because I can still see some terms that could be simplified. So, i-rewrite natin yan, dg all over dx equal to 1 all over 4, the square root of the x all over 2 could be rewritten as 1/2 times x. Also, let me just extend this. Ang 2x, 2 minus x divided by 2 ay pwedeng i-rewrite as 1/2 times 2 minus x. Parehas lang yan dito. Ang goal kasi dito is to at least extract the root of 1/2. if you're going to solve for the square root of 1/2, magkakaroon ka ng, ito, square root of 1/2, equal yan sa square root of 2 all over 2. So, if you are going to rewrite this dg all over dx, yan ay equivalent sa 1 all over 4. Lalagay ko na yung unang square root, 1/2, and then square root of x. Dito naman, square root of 1/2 and another square root for 2 minus x. From this, we can simplify the dg all over dx as 1 all over, this is 4, this is square root of 2 all over 2. Meron pa tayong square root of x, and this one is also square root of 2 all over 2. And finally, this is just the square root of 2 minus x. So as you can see, we can cancel out 4 and 2 and 2 here. And if we have the square root of 2 times square root of 2, magiging 2 na lang yan. So let's just place here 2 para hindi mawala. So from the dg all over dx, this is equivalent to 1 all over 2 times square root of x, and this one is the square root of 2 minus x. And hindi pa yan ang final answer because this is just the dg all over dx, and our requirement is the derivative of y with respect to x. So, do not panic because all you have to do is to substitute everything that you have solved to our main working equation, or that is the dy all over dx equivalent to f. Yung f natin is the 2. And then you multiply it to the derivative of g with respect to x, or this one, yung last na na-solve natin. That's 1 all over 2 times the square root of x times the square root of 2 minus x. And you have to add the product of the g. Ang g natin ay arc sine of the square root of x all over 2. And do not worry because our multiplier here is the derivative of f with respect to x, and that is basically 0. So, if you have a 0 multiplier, ibig sabihin magka-cancel na yung buong term na yan, leaving us with 2 divided by 2 will be 1. So, ang ating final answer for dy all over dx is just the 1 all over the square root of x times the square root of 2 minus x. So, that's the final answer. Ninth example, this is quite easy kasi isa lang naman yung ating function dyan. All you have to do is, in getting the derivative of y with respect to x, provided that a is constant, we will be able to derive this by making use of the derivative of the inverse tangent of an angle. So, ano ba yung itsura nun? The derivative of the inverse tangent of an angle, let's say u, will be equal to, with respect to x, will be equal to the du all over dx divided by 1 plus u squared. In this case, our u is equivalent to the a divided by x, and our derivative of u with respect to x is basically, if this is a all over x, you just have to perform your quotient rule that if you have a divided by x, pwede kang maglagay dyan ng x derivative of a, that is 0. And then minus this, and then the derivative of x, or that is dx all over dx, all divided by dx squared. Or basically, this is du all over dx equal to, this is 0, so that is negative a divided by x squared. Applicable pa rin dyan yung formula natin for the derivative of a constant and a function. Let's say the derivative of a constant and a function v with respect to x. Hindi ba't equal ito sa negative c, the derivative of v with respect to x, divided by the v squared. So, kung ipa-plug in mo na yan directly, ang ating constant ay a, so that is negative a, and then the derivative of v with respect to x is dx all over dx. And then our denominator is v squared, so square lang natin yung x. Or that is basically the same with negative a divided by x squared, which is this one. So, same lang yan. Sabi ko nga noong dati pa, ang derivative ng constant divided by a function is just a derivation from the original quotient rule formula. So much with that. Let's now proceed to the derivative of y with respect to x, provided that this is already analyzed. So, this is equivalent to, ang lalagay na natin dito ay d all over dx, or basically that is negative a divided by x squared divided by 1 plus u squared, or ang u natin ay a divided by x, and you square that one. Or this is similar to negative a divided by x squared divided by, if this is 1 plus a squared divided by x squared, you can also rewrite that as negative a, bababa yung x squared sa denominator, and this one is rewritten as, if you have x squared there, this is also x squared and our a squared. So as you can see, x squared will cancel out, leaving us with negative a divided by x squared plus a squared. That is now the final answer for the derivative of this particular function. So final example now will be this one, and I do hope nagigets ninyo or nagets na ninyo yung gist ng mismong pagde-derive ng inverse trigonometric functions. So again, you just have to practice, memorize your formulas, and syempre, be careful with the simplification part. Okay, for the final example, we have the y is equal to the inverse sine of x all over a plus the square root of a squared minus x squared divided by x, provided that a is taken as constant. So, para mas madali, divide natin ito sa dalawang functions. Take note that is addition. At pag dinivide mo yan, pangalanan natin ito na f, and this one is g. According to the rule of differentiation, if you have to derive y with respect to x, equal yan sa, this is again addition, so basic lang naman, derive yung f with respect to x, and then you derive the g with respect to x. Ang nagpapahirap na lang dyan ay yung mismong pagdiderive sa composite functions. Magiging madali lang yan pagkatrabahuan ninyo yung pagsosolve dito sa mga derivatives natin. So, let's begin with the f. If you have to solve for the derivative of f with respect to h, if you are going to derive the arc sine of u with respect to x, all you have to do is to get the derivative of u with respect to x and get the square root, or divide it with the square root of 1 minus u squared. In this case, in our inverse sine of x all over a, ang du natin dyan, or ang u natin rather, is equal to x all over a. And ang du all over dx natin ay equal agad sa 1 all over a multiplying it to the dx all over dx. Again, a is taken as a constant, so pwede mo agad ilabas yung constant dyan. And then you derive the inner function, let's say the x, as the dx all over dx. So basically, ang du all over dx natin ay equal sa 1 all over a. So plugging in the u and the d all over dx to this one, we will have 1 all over a, and that is further divided by the square root of 1. So, hindi makita. 1 minus the u, or that is x all over a, and then square that. So, para mas madali na mamaya, dito na natin i-simplify ang derivative ng f with respect to x. Kung meron kang 1 all over a sa taas, sa baba, meron kang square root ng 1 minus x squared all over a squared. If you're going to simplify this one, let me just place it here, that if you have 1 all over a divided by the square root of, that is a squared, this is a squared, and this is x squared. As you can see, pwede nating i-factor out dito yung 1 all over a squared. Or, let me just rewrite this. Again, 1 all over a divided by the square root of 1 all over a squared. That is further multiplied to the a squared minus x squared. Kung mapapansin ninyo, pag in-extract mo yung root ng 1 all over a squared, ang mangyayari dyan ay 1 all over a divided by 1 all over a, and sa loob, yung a squared minus x squared. So, pwede mo na palang i-cancel out ang 1 all over a, leaving us with the df all over dx as we have 1 all over the square root of a squared minus x squared. So, take note of this df all over dx kasi kailangan natin yan dito sa main working equation. How about the dg all over dx, or the derivative of the second function with respect to x? So let's see. For the dg all over dx, we are going to work on a fraction, or kung babalikan natin yung quotient rule, kailangan daw natin gumawa ng, let's say this is the numerator, or lagay na lang natin na u, and this one is v. According to the derivative of u divided by v with respect to x, kailangan nating kunin ang derivative ng u with respect to x, multiplying it to the v, minus the u, multiplying it to the derivative of v with respect to x. All of this will be divided by the v squared. So, i-apply natin yan dito sa function na ito. Starting with, so let me just erase this and identify muna natin yung mga values na to. If you're going to identify the u, that is basically the square root of a squared minus x squared. Pag kukunin mo yung derivative ng u with respect to x, it would be better if you are going to rewrite this as a squared minus x squared, and that is raised to 1/2. So, according to the general power rule, you are going to copy the 1/2, you copy the a squared minus x squared, and raise this to 1/2 minus 1. Hindi pa nagtatapos dyan kasi kailangan pang i-derive yung inner function with respect to x. That, the derivative of a squared, since a is a constant, magiging 0 yan. And you have to derive the negative x squared, so meaning to say, you have negative 2x, the derivative of x with respect to x. To simplify this one, you are canceling out the 2 here, leaving us with the du all over dx equals sa negative x. Ito, a squared minus x squared raised to negative 1/2 will become the denominator. Kasi diba, mas maganda kapag yung negative exponents natin ay nasa denominator. And since that is 1/2, that is also equivalent to the square root of a squared minus x squared. That is just the du all over dx. So, eto pa lang yun. Du all over dx, yung u, yung v, given naman yan. What is the v? That is basically, yan na lang natin dito. Ang v ay equal sa x. So, the derivative of v with respect to x is equivalent to dx all over dx, or that is 1. So, na-identify na natin lahat, the v as well as the dv all over dx, so we can plug in everything to our quotient rule. That, the derivative, okay, ito na yon, derivative ng g. The derivative of g with respect to x now is v du minus u dv divided by v squared, or ang v ay x. Ito yon. Ano naman ang du all over dx? Yun yung nasolve natin kanina as negative x divided by the square root of a squared minus x squared. What else do we have here? We have to deduct the product of u and the dv all over dx. Ang u dito ay ito. Square root of a squared minus x squared. Ang dv all over dx naman ay 1. Simply 1. And all of this will be divided by the square of our denominator, or that is dx. Or kung titingnan ninyo ito, v squared, so ibig sabihin, kunin natin yung v and then you just square it as this one. So para mas madaling gamitin ito, it will be nice, or it would be helpful if we are going to simplify this first. That the dg all over dx is equivalent to, this is negative x squared divided by the square root of a squared minus x squared. This is minus square root of a squared minus x squared, and all of this will be divided by x squared. If you're going to combine this into one or a single term, pwede natin kunin yung common denominator as a squared minus x squared, and this will become negative x squared. What will happen to this term? We have square root of a squared minus x squared divided by 1 times this one will be the negative of a squared minus x squared. Kasi radical signs, nagka-cancel lang yan. So, ibig sabihin, kapag kinombine mo na ito lahat-lahat, this will become negative x plus x squared. Diba? Negative x squared plus x squared will cancel out, leaving us with the negative a squared sa taas. So, lagyan na natin dito dg all over dx. That is equal to the a squared divided by, lagay ko na rin itong nasa baba, x squared. What else? We have the denominator as the square root of a squared minus x squared. Okay, so i-take a look at our solution and sana hindi kayo nalilito doon sa sequence natin. For the derivative of y with respect to x, you just have to combine the df with respect to x and the derivative of g with respect to x. Or this is simply written as 1 all over the square root of a squared minus x squared. And this one is given as plus negative a squared divided by x squared times the square root of a squared minus x squared. Pwede mong i-combine yung terms natin dyan para mas masimplify pa natin yung expression. So, using common denominator, you have the square root of a squared minus x squared. Also, this is multiplied to x squared times the square root of a squared minus x squared. For numerator, we will be having x squared times the square root of a squared minus x squared. Also, we have here negative the a squared times, kapag kinombine mo ito, makukuha mo yung square root of a squared minus x squared. May not combine, but of course, you have to divide this and then multiply it to the numerator. So from that, if this is now the derivative of y with respect to x, pwede natin itong i-simplify pa. Ang denominator natin ay merong pwedeng mapag-multiply dyan na square roots. So, pwede mo silang i-combine and they will become the a squared minus x squared. Kasi diba, if you're going to multiply binomials with the power of 1/2, they will yield to 1. Kasi diba, kukombine mo yung 1/2 and 1/2, they will become 1. Sa numerator naman, or we still have here the x squared. Sa numerator, we have common terms. Pwede natin i-factor out itong square root of a squared minus x squared. If you have factored this out, pwede nating makuha yung x squared dito, tapos dito naman, negative a squared. So, this is not yet the final answer kasi meron pa akong nakikita dyan na pwede pang ma-simplify. So, the dy all over dx now, pag gagawin mong negative yung exponent nito, magiging a squared minus x squared, this first term is raised to 1/2. Tapos ito namang nasa baba, a squared minus x squared, that is raised to negative 1. And this one, para pwede nating i-simplify ito together with these two, we can factor out a negative 1 there and this will become opposite of the signs. So magiging a squared yan minus x squared. And as you can see, meron ding imaginary 1 dyan. So, ang naiwan na lang sa denominator ay x squared. So, combining all of this, we have 1/2 plus negative 1 plus 1 is basically the dy all over dx equal to the a squared minus x squared raised to 1/2. And of course, we have a negative 1. Do not forget, it's still divided by x squared. So, to finalize this, we have dy all over dx equal to the negative of square root of a squared minus x squared and divided by x squared. And that's it. That's the final answer, and that's already the simplest form for the derivative of y with respect to x. So that's the end of my discussion regarding the derivative of inverse trigonometric functions. And if you have any questions, you may always send them via email, and take note of the next topic, which is the derivative of logarithmic and even the exponential functions. So sana may natutunan kayo. Do not forget, you have to memorize the formulas for the derivative of inverse trigonometric functions. You have to recall the formulas in differentiation. And lastly, you should always simplify your answers. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening. And please wait for the next video. Bye!